I never believed in love at first sight until I met Sandra. I was 30, a mid-level IT consultant living in Lagos. My life was routine: wake up, work, gym, sleep, repeat. My friends were either married or in the process of being worn down into marriage. Me, I wanted something different. Something wild. Something unforgettable. That something walked into a lounge in Lekki one Friday night wearing a red silk dress, heels that screamed danger, and a confidence I'd never seen in a woman. Her name was Sandra. She didn't sit with anyone, just ordered a glass of red wine and surveyed the room like she owned it. I couldn't help myself. I walked over. "Mind if I sit?" I asked. She looked me up and down, then smirked. "Only if you're interesting." We talked for hours. About books, about travel, about life. Her voice was sultry. At the end of the night, I offered to drop her home. She declined but gave me her number. "Call me," she said. "If you're brave enough." I called the next day. For weeks, we were inseparable. She was charming, intelligent, and funny. She didn't talk much about her past, and I didn't push. I assumed she had trauma, don't we all? What drew me to her wasn't just her looks. It was the way she made me feel seen, desired, wanted. She made the ordinary seem electric. One night, after a particularly wild evening, I asked, "What do you even see in me?" She looked at me, serious for the first time. "You're different. You're the only man who treats me like I matter." I didn't realize how deep that statement was until much later. By the 4th month, I was in love. Helplessly. My friends were skeptical. My sister outright hated her. She said Sandra had bad energy. My mom was neutral but curious. Only my dad, a quiet old-school Yoruba man, said something odd. "Every woman wears a mask, son. Just pray you're not the one who buys it." I should have listened. But love makes you deaf. It started with whispers. The first time I heard anything unusual was during a guy's hangout at a bar in Victoria Island. My old friend Will, loud, careless, a walking red flag, leaned over after 3 beers and said, "Guy, are you still seeing that Sandra babe? The one with the legs and the red lips?" I nodded proudly. "Yeah, that's my girl." He gave me a strange look and muttered, "You sure you know who she really is?" I laughed it off. "What are you saying?" But Will didn't say more. He just raised his glass and said, "No man you be, sure." Later that night, I asked Sandra about it. "Do people say things about you?" She tensed, just for a second. "People talk. Let them. I don't owe anyone my story." And I didn't press. I trusted her. Or maybe, I didn't want the truth. The truth, however, has a way of finding you. It came in the form of an anonymous Instagram DM. A burner account. No followers. No profile pic. Just one message: "You think you're special. She's for everyone. Ask her about Club Lavender." 2018, VIP room. I stared at the message for minutes. My hands shook. Club Lavender was a notorious strip club before it rebranded. Everyone in Lagos knew what went down there. I confronted her that night. My voice cracked from holding in rage, fear, and disbelief. "Sandra, what were you doing at Club Lavender in 2018? She froze. Her eyes widened, then narrowed. "Who told you that?" "That's not the question. What were you doing there?" Silence. Then, after a long breath, she sat down, crossed her legs, and said the words that would change everything. "I was working. I was a prostitute." The air disappeared from the room. I felt like the ground had shifted. My ears rang. My vision blurred. My chest was tight. She started talking, slowly at first, then faster, like she was purging everything she'd buried. She'd started in 2016, after escaping an abusive marriage. Jobless, homeless, and desperate. A friend introduced her to escorting. The money was fast, the clients were high class, and the lifestyle was addictive. She quit in 2020, she said. Tried to rebuild her life. I was part of that new life. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered, I never told you because I didn't want to lose you. You saw me as someone better, and I wanted to be her. I didn't speak. I couldn't. I left her apartment that night and drove around Lagos till morning. Anger. Disgust. Sadness. Confusion. Love. All swirling like a storm inside me. I kept hearing her voice. I wanted to be her. I didn't know what to do. But I knew I couldn't stay away. Because no matter what she was, I still loved her. We didn't talk for a week. During that time, I oscillated between heartbreak and obsession. 1 minute I was deleting her photos from my phone. The next, I was scrolling through our texts, smiling like a fool. Then one evening, she called. Can we talk? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. I didn't say yes, but I showed up at her place anyway. She had cleaned the apartment, lit candles, cooked jollof rice. I sat at the edge of the couch, numb, while she stood in front of me, hands folded like a guilty schoolgirl. I know I lied, she said, eyes pleading. I was scared, but I swear to you, I'm not that woman anymore. I stared at her, trying to separate the woman in front of me from the woman in those anonymous whispers. I just don't know who you are, I finally said. She knelt before me and took my hands. I'm Sandra. The woman who fell in love with you. I've done things I'm not proud of, but please, let me be your future. Don't bury me in my past. I should have walked away. But love, especially love laced with secrets, is a powerful drug. I forgave her. Or at least, I said I did. But things changed. I couldn't unsee the truth. Every time we made love, I wondered how many others had done the same. When she hugged me, I imagined her arms wrapped around strangers in hotel rooms. I began living two lives. In public, I defended her. I snapped at friends who made crude jokes. I lied to my sister when she asked about the rumors. I even deleted the burner account from my DMs, hoping to delete the thoughts that came with it. But in private, I spiraled. I started going through her phone when she was asleep, checking for any signs she had returned to the life. I followed her once, like some paranoid husband. Just to be sure. She never gave me a reason to doubt her. But the doubt was there. Festering. Growing. She noticed, of course. You don't touch me the same way anymore, she said one night. I wanted to deny it, but I couldn't. I'm trying, I said. I really am. She looked at me with sad, tired eyes. You're punishing me for telling you the truth. And maybe I was. The love didn't fade, but it became heavy, like carrying a suitcase full of secrets neither of us could open without shattering everything. But I still proposed. Yes. I proposed. Because I thought marriage could wipe it all clean. Because I thought if I made her mine, the past would finally stay buried. Because I still loved her, but I was also trying to own her redemption. And that was the biggest mistake of my life. When I told my family I was getting married to Sandra, you would have thought I'd confessed to murder. My sister, Sod, flat out refused to attend the wedding. You want to marry a prostitute? She spat. Have you lost your mind, or did she take it from you in bed? My mother, ever diplomatic, just sighed. Are you sure, my son? Marriage is not just about love. It's about peace. Can you live with her past forever? Only my father said nothing. He just stared at me like he saw a version of his son he didn't recognize anymore. I wanted to believe that love would conquer all, but I was already bleeding from the inside. Every conversation with family became a battlefield. Sod, who once called me her best friend, blocked me on WhatsApp. My cousins joked behind my back. One even asked if we'd be live streaming the honeymoon for premium clients. I fought everyone. But I never fought Sandra. She smiled through it all. Said she was used to judgment. People don't let women change. They love your sins if it entertains them, but they hate you if you survive it. That sentence stayed with me. It sounded wise, but also like a warning. The wedding was small, too small for a Nigerian man with our kind of family. Only 10 people attended. None of them were blood. We danced, we laughed, we kissed. For one brief moment, I believed we had outrun the shadows. But shadows stretch. 2 weeks into our marriage, I received an envelope at work. No sender. Just my name written in angry block letters. Inside was a flash drive. Curious, I plugged it in. And there she was, Sandra. On video. Not just in a club. Not just in a hallway. But in a hotel room. With a man. With several men. Explicit. Unfiltered. Dated years back. And labeled, Lagos Most Wanted, Sandra Volume 3. I closed my laptop and vomited into a trash can. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I rushed home. She was in the kitchen, humming and chopping onions. I slammed the flash drive on the table. Her smile vanished. She didn't ask what it was. She just sat down and stared at it like it was a gun aimed at her heart. I thought you said it was behind you, I whispered. Her eyes were red with tears before I even raised my voice. I didn't know there were recordings, she said, trembling. I swear, some clients recorded without my permission. I didn't think they'd leak them. You didn't think. You said you forgave me. I forgave your story, I snapped. Not your highlight reel. She wept. I broke. We both slept in separate rooms that night. The next morning, my mom called. Someone had sent her the same video. You are disgracing us, she said through clenched teeth. You've dragged this family into the gutter. I didn't even argue. For the first time, I started wondering if I had made the biggest mistake of my life. Not just by marrying her, but by trying to redeem her. A month after the video surfaced, I stopped recognizing myself in the mirror. I had lost weight. My eyes were always bloodshot. My smile, when it came, was fake. I no longer touched Sandra without wondering who else had touched her first. Worse, I started to resent her for being happy. For cooking. For dancing to Ace's music in the kitchen. For trying. She didn't flinch when I ignored her kisses. She didn't complain when I came home late, pretending work was the reason. She just kept loving me, with quiet desperation. One night, I came home drunk. I had spent hours with old friends, trying to laugh like I used to. But laughter didn't come easily anymore. Sandra was waiting, as usual. Dressed in one of my oversized t-shirts, her natural hair loose and free. You've been drinking, she said softly. So what? She stood. Can we talk? No. Please. I turned, bottle still in hand. What do you want me to say, Sandra? That I'm fine. I'm not. She walked over, her hands shaking. Then tell me. Scream at me. Hit a wall. But stop punishing me with silence. I slammed the bottle on the table. You broke me. You knew who I was, she shouted. You proposed knowing everything. And I regret it. I screamed back. Silence. Those words hung in the air like a knife. She covered her mouth and gasped, like I had slapped her. You regret me? I didn't answer. Because the truth was cruel. I didn't regret her. I regretted thinking love alone could wash away the scars of our past. The days that followed were cold, mechanical. We passed each other like strangers. She started sleeping on the couch. I started sleeping at the office. Then one morning, I returned to find the apartment half empty. Drawers pulled. Closet cleared. Her key on the table with a note that simply read, "You can stop drowning now. I won't hold your head under anymore." She was gone. My mother called the next day. She had heard from a distant cousin that Sandra had left. I expected her to gloat. Instead, she said something I wasn't ready for. "I never wanted you to marry her, but I didn't want you to destroy her either." I sat in that empty apartment for hours, surrounded by silence and shame. I went through her side of the wardrobe. Her favorite perfumes. Her worn-out copy of Purple Hibiscus. A necklace I bought her from Abuja, still in its box. She hadn't taken any of those things. Only her pain. And the strength to walk away. For weeks, I tried to move on. I tried dating. Tried drinking. Tried praying. Nothing filled the space she left. Because for all her past, she had never stopped trying to love me. And I had weaponized her truth. After Sandra left, I thought the worst was over. But I underestimated the internet and people's appetite for scandal. A month later, someone leaked the full story to a local gossip blog. The headline read, "IT consultant marries former escort, regrets it after her adult tapes leak." My photo was there. Her photo was there. Even screenshots of our wedding video were plastered across the page like a carnival of shame. Well, my oldest guy sent a half-hearted text, "Bro, I warned you. Just lay low, okay?" But the final nail came from my church. I had been part of the men's fellowship for 3 years. I taught Sunday school sometimes. Helped plan youth outreach. One Sunday, the pastor approached me after service. "Brother Toby, we think it's best you step down from all leadership roles, for now." I nodded like I understood. But inside, something snapped. I wanted to scream. To tell them the full story. That I didn't marry a monster, I married a human being trying to heal. That I was the one who failed her. That I let the world crucify a woman just because she wore her scars on her skin instead of hiding them behind a suit. But I said nothing. Because I knew the truth didn't matter anymore. I stopped going out. I disconnected from social media. I lost my job quietly and told no one. The silence was deafening. But the guilt, that was louder. It screamed at night. It mocked me in the mirror. It played back every moment I had doubted her, every time I recoiled from her touch, every sentence I didn't say when she needed love the most. Then, one rainy afternoon, I saw her again. I was walking through Ekejimo, hoodie up, head down, when I heard her laugh. That same magnetic laugh that once pulled me in like a current. She was sitting at a cafe with 2 women. Dressed in a beige coat, afro puffed up, smile radiant. She looked happy. Lighter. Freer. She hadn't seen me. I wanted to run. But I stood there, frozen. Watching from a distance like a ghost haunting his own past. She never looked in my direction. And maybe that was the most painful part. Because the woman I destroyed had finally healed without me. I didn't reach out to her that day at the mall. I couldn't. I stood in the rain, watching her through the cafe glass, wondering how someone could look so whole after I had done so much damage. For the next week, I replayed it over and over in my head. Her laughter. The tilt of her head. The way she stirred her tea. She looked like peace, and I felt like punishment. Eventually, I sent her a message. Just 2 words, "I'm sorry." I didn't expect a reply. And for 2 weeks, none came. But one night, when I was lying on my couch surrounded by pizza boxes and unpaid bills, her name lit up my screen. "Took you long enough." I stared at it, heart pounding. "Can we talk?" I typed. "What for?" She replied. "Closure or confession?" "Both." She agreed to meet. We met at a quiet park near Freedom Way. A place we used to walk during the early days, when love was still innocent. She arrived in jeans and a brown sweater. Minimal makeup. Natural hair tied back. No glamour. No mask. Just Sandra. I stood when she came. We didn't hug, didn't smile. Just sat on a bench under a tree like two people burying a memory. "I don't hate you," she said first. That broke me. I choked on my apology. "You didn't just break me, Toby. You doubted me. You stripped me of the dignity I was trying to rebuild." "I know," I whispered. "I thought marrying you would heal you." But I wasn't healing anyone. I was trying to control the pain I didn't understand. She nodded. "You loved the version of me you created in your mind. Not the one I gave you." She wasn't wrong. I wanted to say more. But I also knew that silence, sometimes, is the loudest form of respect. After a long pause, she stood. "I forgive you," she said. "But forgiveness doesn't